Today's Tuesday, and yesterday was a holiday. I didn't really do anything yesterday. I kind of sat around and played Warcraft 2 from 1995. It was awesome. But a few days before this holiday weekend started, I put up a shelf for Coleman lanterns because I've got way too many of them. I'm running out of space. I don't know, it's a little tough to see, but in the garage here, it's getting packed. And I've been finding a lot of bigger items, and that's not helping. But let me spin you around and show you this shelf here because it's kind of awesome. Originally on this wall was a very large for rent sign for office space that my father had for one of his buildings. And it took up the whole wall and it was just flat. So I decided to take that down, buy a couple shelves and some brackets and hang up all these lanterns. And what I did was I measured from the top there of the license plate to the bottom of the shelf. I think it's about 18 inches, and that'll hold 3 license plates high. So I can stack 3 license plates up for a nice little backdrop. It'll be a little more difficult with these brackets, but I'll figure something out along the way. Now, all of these lanterns were found this year. There's a whole bunch more behind me. There's a bunch hanging up to the right, and there's a whole bunch of more of the stoves and just all Coleman stuff scattered around this garage. But this is a start, and I think it looks awesome displayed like this. I can put some of my favorite ones here. In this case, just the ones that I've found so far this year up on the shelf. I mean, look at this one here, Coleman 502 stove. Looks almost brand new, barely used, really good shape. I love these older mantle packages. This is something I actually paid up for. I bought this on eBay. This is a parts catalog, I think from the 1920s. And if I ever come across, some really old, cool stuff from Coleman, it's going to help determining parts. So very happy that I got that. Lots of boxes I keep under here, among other places. There's just stuff all over here. But eventually what I'm going to do during the winter when it slows down is get rid of these lights up here because they're just plugged into the wall. And I'll probably add a switch and some nicer, newer LED lights, and then something, I don't know, something up here that kind of like shines on the lanterns here. And then I'll swap these out as I get, newer, cooler, older, cooler ones. And then I'll probably end up, making the shelf a little bit longer. But these are all the ones I found so far this year. This one is probably my best find of the year. It was only $20 at an estate sale, and a lot of people tried to buy it when I set it down in my pile. And it's one of those times where you just want to cash out, bring it to the car, and then go back into the house and dig some more. But very happy about this, and I'm really excited to get some more license plates to hang up in the back because I think that looks really cool too. I don't really get into the newer white license plates with the standing liberties on them. I prefer these older blue and yellow, and then these old school World's Fair license plates too, which I think look awesome. Let's head over to the table and look at the very small pile of stuff that I bought, but it does include another lantern. So I only hit up a few estate sales, and they were not the best. There were some very high dollar items, and I just wasn't trying to pay that kind of money. But I'll show you some of the cool stuff that I found. This, I have no, it's a reverberator by Gibbs. I paid $10 for this thing. I have no clue what this is. This is way before my time. But it's got all sorts of wiring and whatnots in there. It is missing one of the decorative covers over the switch. But I thought it was cool for $10. And then at the same house, I think this was $5. I can't remember. It's an old Craig radio. It's got the faceplate. Not the best brand, but very prominent in the 80s and 90s, and maybe even earlier. I'm not 100% sure. But this one looks like it's in really good shape. Has the box, has the wiring harness, the faceplate, and all that. So it should be hopefully worth more than what I paid. Grabbed some fishing reels. These were bigger, and I thought they were maybe like saltwater or something. This is a Penn Senator game fish reel. There were a ton of them on the table, and I grabbed the biggest ones, and then this other fancy one over here. And we'll take a look at that one in a second too and see what it's worth maybe. What's this one? This is a Penn Squidder. This one, I thought it looked crazy, so I grabbed it. It says Helion, and it's got individual serial numbers on it. Made in France. Really cool looking reel. And when I first looked this up, it looks like you can switch the handle from left to right. You just move, you unscrew this and unscrew that and swap it around. But I think I looked it up really quickly on eBay when I got home, and there were some crazy numbers on it, but I don't think any had sold for that number. But I'll throw up a comp on the screen here as to what one sold for, if I could find a sold comp, and then I'll throw up some comps of, well, what people are asking, because I think they were asking like $300 to $500 or something like that. One thing I think I've sold like 5 of these already. It's Perrin number 101. This was only $1, and it didn't have any flies in it, but this is a fly tackle box type of thing here. They sell pretty quickly. Maybe 25 to 35 bucks you'll get for these. If there's older flies in them, they can sometimes sell for a good amount of money, but I typically get around $30 for these when I find them. Estate sale for 15 bucks. This old Kodak bag, and inside it was the smallest TV that I've ever seen. You know, I've seen a lot of these older TVs around, but I've never seen one this tiny. It's so small that this thing has a magnifying glass going over the screen. I mean, this has to be like a 1.5-inch screen, if that. So it does turn on. It's got a line across it, and if I can do this one-handed quick, I'll plug it in. The volume control doesn't really work other than just powering this thing on. So once it's on, it's on. The volume stays where it is, and then there's that line across the screen. Now, obviously, I'm not going to be able to pick anything up, you know, with this TV, but I'll plug it in if I can, one-handed. This is pretty difficult here. And it's got this proprietary plug for it. There's a 12-volt adapter, too. So let's see. We've got nothing right now. I swear it did turn on. It did something. Oh, there we go. So it's starting to fire up, and it's got that one line on the bottom and then some static on the top. And nothing changes anything. Oh, we've got some sounds. Does the volume work? No. So see, the volume doesn't do anything except turn it on and off. Yeah. So I'm not sure. I mean, I'll sell this for parts are not working. It's got a cool little stand. The antenna's intact. It's got all the paperwork, all the wires for it. It's super cool. I mean, if I were a kid in the 80s and I had this thing in my back pocket to watch TV, I'd be the coolest kid on the block, for sure. Now, lastly, I bought this from another picker that got it at an estate sale that I wasn't trying to wait in line for, because this house was just packed with people, and I wasn't trying to wait in line for an hour to get in. But I gave him some extra money for it because he knows I buy lanterns, and I thought this one was pretty cool. And it's called an Ida Express 1500 500 candle power. This one's from 1961. It's in great shape, other than, you know, some corrosion on it, because these things burn. These things burn pretty hot, and when you light them, it's violent. It's hilarious, actually, when you see these things. I'll explain it in a minute. The bottom has been bulged out a little bit because this thing requires a ton of pressure to get it to work here. It's got to get up to this number 2, and you can pump this thing 100 times, and then you're finally where you're at. But the gauge I thought was pretty cool. There's a pressure relief here. It's really neat. This runs on kerosene, if I remember correctly. And when you pump it up, 100 plus times, basically you put a lighter in here and it shoots a flame, because with kerosene you need to get the generator hot before it'll start working with the mantle. So you'll put a flame in, a lighter or something in here, and it'll shoot flames out through the top until it gets up to the temperature, and then you open your valve up and you've got the mantle will glow. At least I'm pretty sure that's how this one works. I saw a couple of YouTube videos and it was insane. But I did pay up for that. I think I paid like 60 or 70 bucks for this because, well, I love cool lanterns, and why not? This stuff I didn't buy recently, but I need to get stuff out of here. So a lot of this is going to be going to the dollar auction. So the dollarauction.com. I've listed a few things there, and I'm going to get a few more listed. I'm probably going to sell this whole pile of gloves as a whole. We've got a Farmall new in box thermometer that's going to go, some LLB shoes, some glassware. That might be going to eBay. There's a bunch of other stuff I'm going to get listed that I don't have on the table here. This might, I don't know. Do I need to keep that? That's kind of cool. I do have a lot of these, so I'm not going to keep any more. I don't know if these are Dorothy Thorpe or Queen's Lusterware with the chrome rim. I know both of them made them, but these are the polka dot version. These are from older. This I just had sitting around. These are old Oakley Batwolf interchangeable icon system. It's got to be worth something, right? And then a Fossil watch that I'm probably going to put on eBay. I think it needs a battery because I want to say that's a screen in the background here. And it's got like those big numbers that would display on the screen. I could be wrong. I'll put up a comp if I could find it. But this one looks like it's going to be fun to put a battery in. You know what? I also might... I was going to list these on eBay. I had somebody that wanted them, and they changed their mind. These are women's... This is not the best way to do this right here. These are women's Pendleton, made in USA. Authentic, whatever that says right there. I believe this is also Pendleton, USA made. Yep, made in USA. And I might just put these on the dollar auction also. So if you're watching this video, today is October 14th. I'll probably post this video today. I'll end the auctions for some of these things over here. I'll end those probably on this coming Sunday. And I might just put these on there too, because why not? We'll put some cool stuff on there. But yeah, these are both women's. I believe they're both medium. They're in good shape, good colors too, right? It's good fall, maybe even Christmas right there. But that's going to be it for this video. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.